For Comedy Hype News, I'm Ramil Thompson. Fashion and hip-hop have went hand in hand essentially since the genre came to exist. In the 1980s, groups such as Run DMC popularized Adidas through campaigns and numerous videos and public appearances in which they sported the gear. During the late 80s into the 90s, several fashion brands would emerge. However, one in particular would bridge the gap between hip-hop and fashion to blend the two, creating clothes unlike anything seen before. Carl Williams, who would later become more commonly known to the world as Karl Kani, would set the precedent for streetwear in its infancy, as well as inspiring the fashion of the golden era and beyond 30 plus years later. While there are some that may not be aware of just how influential and consistent Karl Kani has been as a brand, one can never forget the contributions to both hip-hop and fashion that has created a legacy forever for Karl Kani, which is why he will always remain unforgotten. Born in Limon, Costa Rica on May 23, 1968, before relocating to Flatbush, Brooklyn at just 2 years old, Brooklyn and the hip-hop genre would become the backdrop for Carl Williams' fashion inspiration later in life. The young kid would become fascinated with fashion after attempting to become a rapper after being a b-boy at age 13. Seeing that there was no gear that catered specifically towards hip-hop that the average person would wear, Carl exploited the need to create his first piece of clothing via his father's tailor shop. As a teen, Carl would often compete with friends over who would have the best clothing, going so far as to hide the source of items to have an advantage over one another. This determination would factor in as Carl would grow tired of the same old items and led him to creating clothes at 19 for children in the neighborhood, becoming a locally known and respected talent. According to the brand's official site, he is a visionary of many firsts. The first to develop the baggy jean concept, the first urban fashion company to employ an all-black sales force, and the first designer to host a fashion show at the White House during President Bill Clinton's term. The brand was notable for being a statement piece, as the baggy fit of clothing was a stark change from the fashion of the 1980s. Additionally, the pieces were unique in that each one was one of one, and as the brand grew, this look would set the basis for both streetwear of the time and hip-hop as a whole for the era. With high-quality materials came a large price tag on the items for the time, showing the public that Karl Kani was a luxury brand, and this was something he did not shy away from consistently from creation to the present day of the brand. Despite a large number of locals purchasing custom outfits from the designer, the brand had no name at the time, leading to questions when customers would brag about their gear, but only be able to refer to Karl as a designer without a brand name. The name of the company came after a woman noted that Karl's name should be on the clothing since he was the designer. Karl Kani came about as a play on Karl's real name and a question he would ask himself often. According to an interview with Red Bull, "Can I was a question I asked myself all the time. Can I be successful? Can I come from the inner city and build a clothing brand? Can I be international? I didn't know the answers to that, but I knew that if I called myself Karl Kani, every day I have to answer that question." This was important, as Kani admits this became a mantra propelling him to new heights as his career progressed throughout the 1990s, as he would begin to work with some of the biggest names in hip-hop at the time. In 1989, Carl Williams, who had legally changed his name to Karl Kani, would relocate to Los Angeles, launching the brand to the world in a brick-and-mortar location on Crenshaw Boulevard. Celebrity clientele was present for Kani just a few years into the brand's existence. However, one of the most famous shoots came in 1993 featuring Tupac. It was during this photo shoot that Tupac would rep the brand for free, famously telling the designer that he would not charge his people and that he just wants to see everybody win. When Tupac made one request, it was to have his friends and colleagues pictured in photos, giving them the opportunities to shine as well. This tactic proved useful, as other stars such as Biggie Smalls, Eminem, Nelly, and in more modern times, artists such as Wiz Khalifa and Pop Smoke have done similar things. Getting rappers to sport his clothing began way back when Kani was known to go to several rap concerts in hopes of getting rappers to wear his design, after realizing how serious this type of advertising was. In an interview via the LA Times from 1992, Kani admits, "The only thing that really kept me striving was seeing black people being successful in the music industry. I wanted to be a part of that, but I knew I couldn't sing or dance or rap. I couldn't do all that, but I could provide clothing for these people who were out there who can make me famous at the same time." With the popularity of Karl Kani and the deal with Cross Colors bringing the brand into several more retail stores, the designer would make his way into the music via multiple shoutouts by the biggest artists of the time. The creation of Karl Kani Infinity via the parent company of Cross Colors coincided with the closing of the physical store in that same year, and by 1994, the brand was projected to gross $40 million in revenue worldwide. Karl Kani admitted that much of his popularity overseas was due to the star clientele such as Tupac that was so beloved in other countries that their wearing of Karl Kani effectively became synonymous with this same love and subsequent sales. A large part of the brand's success was Kani's ability to truly understand what the people within the culture desired, as he was a person from the culture who truly started his clothing brand for personal reasons. In the 1992 LA Times interview, one can see this as Kani touches on future designs for 1995, stating, "For 1995, we're coming into a very basic, relaxed look. We're noticing that a lot of people are getting away from the big, oversized baggy jeans. They're getting into relaxed fit jeans. Right now, the earth tones are still going to be popular for us. We're going to expand our tops. We found that button-down collar shirts and things like that are getting to be more a part of our business. A lot of people want to look dressy, but still have a sport look to them." Being aware of these changes kept the brand fresh and current as time went on, which was critical considering the simultaneous growth of the brand through the celebrity clientele being used for photos. Growth in the form of being mentioned in hip-hop tracks truly propelled Kani to the forefront of fashion. Within the Red Bull interview, it is revealed that Karl Kani even began influencing hip-hop itself and the rhymes that were dominating the Billboard Top 100. The "size in these Karl Kani jeans, I wear 13s, know what I mean," rhymed by Biggie Smalls on One More Chance. Some try to rap with that perpetrate mobster crap. Karl Kani jeans, fat stomachs in the limousines, rap Cool Keith on 1997's Plastic World. And in the same year, Nelly paid homage on Steal the Show with the line, "And I didn't have to get my whole team just to do that," in a blue hat with a black baggy Karl Kani. These mentions helped the brand to truly expand on an international level. This brought in much more money and acclaim as Karl Kani became a legend in hip-hop as the go-to guy for the hottest one-of-one outfits at the time. Without major coverage from the more notable publications in hip-hop, Karl Kani has still remained relevant. The fall 2022 rollout of clothing included a European AIM line with materials that remain true to the original designs. Karl Kani often talked about the fact that quality cost and that his clothes were not for everyone, as many people at the time would point towards Ralph Lauren as a fashionable brand that was offering their pieces at a more affordable price point. Today, artists such as Joey Badass, Rihanna, and DaBaby have been spotted in the designer's numerous designs. The impact that he has had on hip-hop continues to be strong as artists appreciate his efforts from past and present. NLE Choppa famously even redid the Tupac photo shoot that he did with Karl Kani, paying homage to the legend. Having spread to 25 countries in Europe and having 13 flagship stores in Japan, the Karl Kani brand has truly come a long way from Brooklyn. Many people appreciate the fact that Karl Kani hired his friends and continues to produce his clothing in the United States with the focus on the highest level of craftsmanship and top quality materials. There is no reason not to expect Karl Kani to remain relevant for another 30 years as he continues to look to create pieces that push the envelope and continue to evolve with the times. With a resume like this, one can never forget the godfather of urban wear and hip-hop fixture dressing the top stars for the same duration as he continues to grow his legacy and legend day by day, which is why Karl Kani will always be unforgotten. For Comedy Hype News, I'm Ramil Thompson.